because what you can do is you can just stick it on the clear and just hold it up so you've got your hands free again. And then what we're going to do is we're going to trim across the paper. We might go a little bit higher actually, so let's just lift it a little bit higher, right up to that joint on both sides. That's it. Okay. Right, so the next bit, because this is the trunk's coming down here, we're going to work the trunk first and then we're going to move on to the branch bits. So let's just lift that down. Now, you may need two people, but you can see here that I'm doing it on my own. Now, if you just bring the graphic down and just lightly tack it to the wall, just kind of drop it onto the wall, it should stick and you should be able to pull it up. But we're kind of happy with the position there, so I'm just going to work from where we cut the paper away, just on this trunk to start with, just to make sure that it's nicely done. And then I'm going to work down the tree, down the branches, just over the other pieces. Okay, the next a little bit more tricky, but we should be able to do it just if we peel away the masking tape. Okay, and because we've tacked it across there, we can let it hinge down on itself, just like that. Okay, and it's still stuck to the wall because we worked it hard onto the wall. Okay, the next trick is to lift the graphic away, lift the paper away from the sticker, from the graphic. Okay, and then let's just take it to halfway for now. And then we lift the graphic up. If you're short like me, you may need steps. But just work it with one hand holding the whole graphic up, so the paper helps to hold the edges out. And then just work your way up. Now we're kind of stuck in halfway. Swap hands. Okay, and then let's just pull it back down again, and then just holding the top of the graphic there, top of the sticker, we're just going to release the whole of the paper now. So there we go. So that's all the paper off. Always holding the sticker helps, just to make sure that it doesn't flop back down. So then what we're doing here is basically just going to work it up. So if we just lightly tack it onto the wall, you can see how I'm lifting it off because it's only lightly tacked. And once the graphic's on, just make sure there's no bagging. Okay, and then let's just work the graphic out. And if you work it up the branch, it kind of squeezes it out as you go, if it's lightly tacked. Okay, that should be that stuck now, so let's just release the paper. This is still coming away at that corner, so I'm just going to give it another good firm rub down, and there we go. Any parts that you haven't stuck, is just lift it back a little bit, rub over it, and then peel it away. If you find when you're pulling it off that you're kind of getting a lot, but you still need to get in to rub any pieces that haven't stuck down, you just cut the excess away. That's number 3 on the wall. What you might find as an extra tip is just to get a little rag and kind of firmly press over the graphic once you've removed the tape. You don't need the scraper as much, and then just rub nice and firmly. Okay, so piece number 4. We want to again just trim across where the branch meets the trunk of the tree. And we'll also cut number 4 off. Right, as you can see, that's kind of in position, but we can't really see where each part of it is. So don't be afraid, just to take your scissors and cut away any excess paper that's not got a sticker around it, because we don't need that part. Then let's just put a piece of tape out on this corner so that we can make sure that this piece lines up. And again, on here, we're going to just trim that off. Okay, now we can kind of get a clearer picture of what's going on. So we want to just pivot this slightly. So it should release the masking tape. Get this into position. And once it's roughly in position, we can take a piece of masking tape and then let's just adjust this so that it's accurate. And then if we tape across where the joint meets, we know that's not going to move. And then we can kind of smooth the graphic out just to make sure that it's sitting right. Okay. Right, so again we've got the same technique again, which is the hinge, which we'll do across the middle. We'll do this one diagonally this time. So let's take our scissors. Again, we'll work from the bottom upwards and then back down again. A little piece of masking tape just stuck onto the clear part, not obviously stuck onto the back of the sticker. And then we're going to just trim away the white paper again. Okay. Once again, because we've got quite a strong branch, we're going to lightly tack it again onto the wall in position. Grab hold of that. And then just make sure this lines up again. Yep, perfect. Okay, so I've just run my thumb over that so that I know that it's perfect. And then I'm just going to run out again, once again at 45 degrees. There's lots of techniques on how to put vinyl down. Some people do it loads of different ways, and you may have seen other videos on YouTube or wherever on how to apply stickers, but this is kind of one of the ways that we use for doing most of our graphics. You can also use your finger as well if you just need to burnish it down with it. Or like I mentioned and showed you before, some people like to use a rag just to burnish it down. Okay, now we've done that, we're just going to remove the masking tape again like we did last time and let the graphic pivot across the line where we cut. Okay, I'll hold my finger there just so that I know that the graphic's going to pivot over. and then it's flat, and then just peel back just from the edge, and you can see how the graphic just sticks to the application tape and comes away from the backing paper. Okay, now we've got this, get this in one hand, lift it up slightly, and then work across the graphic again, 45 degrees. And that's your tree done now after we've removed the tape. Basically, quite easy as you can see, just takes a bit of time and a bit of patience.